we're Social Breakfast, and we're here today looking at the NUT match against pension cuts. Let's go and have a chat. What detrimental effect do you think that the changes that the government is making to the education system is having on our young people?
Well, it's taking power away from the schools and the teachers who are professionals and who know what they're doing and care about students. None of us went into the profession for the money. We put all the money into all the things that was what it was all about. We obviously all care about kids. It's taking that away from us. It's ensuring that the deprived kids from deprived areas are going to be even worse off than they were before. The latest thing about first entry counts is setting schools into disarray, making decisions in the middle of term, middle of school years, immediate effect. It's making teachers stressed. That will impact on students. It means that, well, in one breath goes saying that they need to carry on doing English until they get a C, but on the other hand, they won't count the school figures apart from the first one. So teachers got to make decisions based on new criteria. The whole notion of taking things back to kind of grammar school, old school, like neo-Victorian style education, it just doesn't work for every kid. Maybe it does work in private schools and grammar schools, but it certainly doesn't work for kids from deprived areas like we were.
Oh, brilliant, thank you. And what changes do you think should be made to the education system then?
Well, consultation with professionals, people who work in schools would be a good idea. Actually listening to the voices of teachers, head teachers, people who do it, rather than people who've either never been in the classroom or haven't been in the classroom for 20 years. Ensuring that Ofsted actually does what it's supposed to do in raising standards rather than in shutting schools down, making the teachers demoralised, etc. It is destroying the teacher profession.
We did have a couple of technical hitches, but we have got some audio interviews for you. This is a group of young teachers. Why are you striking today? What is it in particular that you are unhappy with?
For me, it's like the privatisation and the economisation of schools. I disagree with that.
I think there are always changes to be made with any system because it's an evolving system that has to change with like the progression of time. So it's a constantly evolving system. You can't say that there is no change or there is change. However, that needs some kind of...
It needs to make sense.
Yeah, it needs to make sense, and it can't just be something where someone has an idea and just kind of... Yeah, it goes with it. I mean, my main reason for striking is probably the lack of communication between the policymakers and people that are working on the ground level. There seems to be a massive kind of break between the two at the moment. And I don't think that's necessarily right. If you look at how much kind of educational experience they have between them and the kind of schools that most of us teach in, I think it would be very limited both while they were being educated themselves and as teachers. So I think they need a wider kind of experience base, and if they don't have that themselves, then they should be looking to bring people on board to be able to look at that. And for me at the moment, I think they're ignoring it rather than working with people.
We spoke to a student who had some very interesting views to share.
It's making changes to teachers' pay and pensions and stuff. So teachers aren't going to be as happy to do extra work and stuff. So it's going to have an effect on our children. So teachers striking today, they're striking for their rights, which will affect our children. So, okay, you can argue that striking today means kids aren't in school for today, but in the long term, the strike will have a good effect overall on the students because they'll get because the teachers are getting better deals, so the teachers will be teaching better because they're getting a better deal.
Oh, that's brilliant. And what changes do you think would benefit the education system?
More funding, not cuts. Yeah, I mean, you don't make things better by taking money off them, you know? I mean, we're in a recession, yes, but you can't take funding away from educating the children who are going to be the next rulers of this country. It's a nonsense. It's just a downward spiral once you start doing that. It's ridiculous. So you have more funding, more teachers, training more people, encouraging people to train, do bursaries for teachers when they want to go to university so they can actually be teachers, you know, not putting them into ridiculous amounts of debt because, you know, if you've got a maths degree, you're not going to be a maths teacher, are you? Because they're not paid good. If you've got a maths degree, you can do anything, you know. So you need to encourage people to do teaching because teaching is a fundamental thing to our society. We need teachers.
Thank you very much.
No education
So incredible turnout today.
Yeah, loads and loads of people.
Yeah, so many teachers came out in support of the strike, and they've sent a clear message that they feel Michael Gove's unwillingness to listen to them has driven them to this action.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely got a sense today that the teachers feel that the government isn't listening. But I suppose on the other side, the government feels that they are trying to raise standards and they're trying to help the children of this country compete on a global level.
Totally.
What's your opinion? Join us on Twitter at Social Break and let us know.